Probably have the... Oh, I just hit it for some reason. It's not even under the capture for the wheel. Admittedly, Magic the Gathering is on the wheel of filler. Like, it has... We have not landed on it yet. So... We might... There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 11. There's a 1 in 11 chance that we go right back into Arena. Yep. Well, that makes setup easy. I don't have to change out which game I'm capturing. So I guess we're doing some Brawl. So that will make this the second time that I did a planar cube draft and then played Brawl the rest of the stream. Well, at least the rest of the main segment, which you know, this isn't the main segment anymore. It's filler. You know, it's time for the circle again. Which you know, that means this time it will be its own separate video up on YouTube. And this also means that it will be at minimum another 10 filler segments before we do Arena as filler again. Yeah, this is a good enough hand. Like, especially since I've already got my 4 wins for the day, I'm not playing this competitively enough to really worry too terribly much. Making the exact right hand. Blooming Marsh. Blood Artist, pass. Insidious Roots. Let's play a tapped land and pass. Heirloom Monty, pass. Gotta have Igra. Grave Researcher. Or pass. Although, you know, if they start sacrificing creatures as food, then I get a share of the life, essentially. Since Blood Artist will trigger and give me an extra life while draining them for one. So effectively, they'll be gaining 2 and giving me 1 if they sacrifice any of their creatures to the ability Igra gives them. So Blood Artist triggers. Unfortunately, that would enter tapped, so I didn't really want that particular land right now. Go ahead and pile on Chatterfang. Although I do not currently have a forest, so Forest Walk doesn't do anything. Alright, now Fabled Passage, that's a good land right now. So that lets me get Sidisi out on the field. Healed with that extra 1 mana. And I can avoid activating the Forest Walk by not grabbing a forest with it. Since I've got 2 green mana already. Yeah, sacrifice that. You give me more life. Yes, you have... They sacrifice... Get any way in which they sacrifice their creatures as food token, as if they were food, I gain life off of because they're sacrificing a creature. So it's actually better for me if they're foraging. Potentially. Alright, Sidisi didn't get a hit, so I'm gonna have to, like, block with Blood Artist or something. It's either that or block with Sidisi. Because I want to keep the auntie alive. Since the auntie makes it where anytime one of my creatures dies, I get to surveil and potentially just make more creatures to replace them. So maybe, yeah, I think just taking that hit was the right move. Because I can Teacher's Pest. Has some pass. And now I've got a blocker. Or that's not really doing much of importance. And can even come back from the grave. Hmm? What's stopping it from blocking? Oh, no, nothing. That was just the prompt for... Do you want to sacrifice one of your creatures to gain 3 life? Y'all sacrifice my blood artist. To gain 4 life. And I get to kill their treetop sentries now. Which is one thing that I feel like people seem to forget at times is that to really get the most use out of Igra, you need to actually give it trample. Because sure, 20 damage is a lot, but it's not quite as much when that 20 damage is entirely devoted to beating a 1/1 to a fine mist. And you know, go ahead and kill that. Which, I mean, it could just be the, like, you know, they always need to draw some means of giving Igra trample. But, like, if you're gonna play Igra, you should probably have plenty of ways to give it trample. Right, Underwhelm Lich, so that I can just discard while I draw, essentially. You know, instead of drawing, I get to look at the top 3, pick one, put it into my hand, discard the rest. Has some neat interactions with stuff that cares about... with stuff that some players play that cares about your opponent drawing cards, because it makes it to where technically I just don't anymore. I'll take an Altar of the Brood. Who'd play it? Play Head Shredder. That's a permanent entering the battlefield under my control. Oh, so they mill one, and then I will pass. I still don't have any forests, so Chatterfang is still fully blockable. Yeah, like it's probably not that they forget. It's just simply they could probably be playing more trample enablers. So, especially the people that play Igra as commander. Granted, I mean, you know, maybe it's just I have a good matchup because, well, I make all of this. a huge part of my game plan is just flooding the board with tokens, so that I have just a continual barrier wall against any creature that doesn't have trample or flying. Yeah, I'll take the talisman, because those other two are actually better going into the graveyard or in this situation. And now I make a bunch of bugs. And every time I make a bug, it's a 1/1 creature, so it triggers the Gorehound, thus giving me more shots at, putting a creature or land into my graveyard. And so the cycle repeats until I miss one too many times, or my opponent runs out of cards or concedes. After all, I've got Insidious Roots and I've got Gaia's Blessing in the deck, so of course there is a limit to the number of creature tokens, I think, at least of a specific type, and I have hit it. It's like 200 something, which, if you can make 200 tokens, and each of those tokens mills your opponent for one, unless they've got their own Gaia's Blessing, you pretty much just win. Like, I'm even playing a forest, because I've pretty much already won at this point. Because I'm making a bunch of Scute Swarms, all of which mill my opponent for one. And there we go. They've either realized what's happening, or at least are tired of watching it happen. Either way, that's a win. And so we move on to the next victim. Yeah, play a storefront. Grab a swamp. Island. Throw down Mesmeric Orb. So now we both mill every time we untap any permanent. I'm just in the significantly better position to take advantage. Alright, Gossip's Talent. Broker's Hideout. Go ahead and grab a forest. Pass a turn, they mill 3 because they untapped 3 lands. And they're about to play Edgar, I'm sure. Yep. Alright, so they're gonna mill 6 on their turn. Pay 3. Gets a DC onto the field. I almost whiffed, but the Surveil got me there. So I got 2 zombies. They're milling 6. So I have 2 blockers to mitigate the incoming damage. Which, you know, if they full swing, or, you know, they could just concede. They could see the non-deterministic loop coming, and decide they don't want any part of that nonsense. Which I might, you know, depending on what time it is, I might switch over to a different filler segment, and if, like, I hit my 15th win for the day. Because at that point, like, I am playing entirely just for the love of the game. And because I'm not actually even getting any, like, cards or in-game currency, you know, no rewards of any kind, other than, like, maybe progress on some achievement. Alright, Argoth, pass. Botanical Sanctum. Golgari Signet, pass. Breeding Pool, pay the 2 life. It's the DC. Right, got 1 zombie, because I don't have any of my Surveil effects out yet. Right, I've got Goreclaw. So I'll play a Gorehound. Follow it up with Ledger Shredder. And finally a Signet and pass. Well, they do have 1... Okay, so they're leaving me with just the Overgrown Tomb. But hey, they didn't get any useful mana generation. Because all of their stuff is green. So they got was effectively a swamp. Can sacrifice that to grab another swamp so that I have more than one source of black mana. Getting Nissa, Resurgent Animist. So as one might expect from green, they're doing landfall. They're also destroying my orb, which is real unfortunate. Hey, at least I get to gain potentially a lot of life. Yeah, play the Glass Festival Mimic. Make another Lumerette. So I gain 2 life for every zombie I generate. And I keep generating more zombies until I hit a non-creature card. And then I'll pass with 33 life. Oh, they're gonna get triple landfall. Which means Nissa's gonna trigger 3 times. Oh, they're gonna destroy one of my signets. Which at this point isn't that big of a deal. Especially not when I'm following up with Gossip's Talent on my turn. Make it to where I can attack with DC unblockable. Yeah, I'll keep the Insidious Roots up. So I'm at 35. All of their creatures have trample, but... Well, that was unfortunate. You know, would have liked to be able to get all that nice extra mana. Well, I don't really have anything to spend it on right now, so... I guess it doesn't matter too terribly much. Right. Level up Gossip's Talent to 3. Swing with Sidisi. Generate as many zombies as I can. Which, you know, each zombie lets me surveil twice. So effectively I'm getting actually better than surveil 2. So I get 2 shots at a creature card or to each time And there's separate triggers. So I can easily discard both. And get 2 zombies out of it. Alright, so I hit a run of non-creature cards, but Sidisi dealt damage, so I get to bounce Sidisi. Well, I get to flicker Sidisi as a correct term. And so I get to start generating zombies again. Until I hit a run of multiple non-creature cards, or I run out of cards in my deck. Whichever happens first. Because basically, like, since I get 2 surveils for every zombie, I don't have to worry about single gaps of 1 non-creature card until I'm on my last surveil on the stack. Like, as long as I've got another surveil coming, I can just keep going past a non-creature card until we're just gonna keep going for a little while longer. As we approach triple-digit life. And now I've got Teacher's Pest in the graveyard that I can bring back to get another 2 surveils. Since as a creature entering... Actually, it's 4 surveils because I have Twilight Diviner out, which gives me a second copy of it. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, I can see that you're about to hit 100 life. I don't think this deck has ever dealt that damage. I am going to just leash. Or, you know, maybe they just got bored. Admittedly, like, on the one hand, like, this kind of deck is actually better in paper. Because you don't have to worry about, like, the arena timer. However, because it's a non-deterministic loop, yeah, I'm not doing 5 color dragons right now, or ever. But because it's a non-deterministic loop that cares about what card is on the top of my library, I do technically have to kind of, like, it is longer than a more deterministic infinite would be. Just because it could spontaneously sputter out at any time. So long as my deck is not entirely just creatures. Which, if I built this in Commander, I might be able to fit more creatures in it, just because there's a larger card pool, thus giving me access to more creatures that could take the place of some of the instant sorceries. These and artifacts and, you know, all that stuff. Just play Vantra's Gargoyle. Have a nice big 5/4. Or with flying. For the first few turns of the game. Hopefully. You know, hopefully it doesn't get killed immediately. End of their turn, activate the Gargoyle. Forest. Sidisi. Well, Bark Channel Pathway, which is effectively just a forest. So I've got Sidisi and a zombie. They are, however, going to start hitting me for 9 damage every turn. 13, actually. So I'm just going to block that. Yeah, unfortunately, I just lose here because I have no way of blocking that again. So I actually should have just waited until the next turn. Well, actually, I think... Yeah, actually, I probably could have survived. Well, it depends on what else they did that turn. Whether I would have survived another hit. Right, Haunted Mire, pass. Island, Talisman of Resilience, pass. Being either plains or a mana value 1 creature. Yep, they've got a plains. So they can play Captain America next turn. Right, Myco Tyrant. Drowned Jungle, pass. Yep, here's Captain America in my Magic the Gathering game. Well, at least I get four funguses. You know, 4 fungi. If it weren't for that Ward 1... I could have just gone ahead and killed him. You know, play the Goalkeeper and swing out. You get another 3 heat fungi. Could potentially block and kill Captain America, which don't need to worry about it. They didn't attack, so... So go ahead and kill that. Play a Simic Signet. Wing with 8/8 Mike Hiko Tyrant. Get 3 more 1/1 fungus tokens. So here's a bit of irony. Well, maybe it's not irony, but either way. They're playing all of these good white cards, but playing all these good cards, none of them actually benefit from Captain America's ability. Because they're not heroes. Because the hero creature type has not even existed for very long. It was introduced in like Final Fantasy. So like... It's like, you know, if you want a hero-focused deck, you're drawing from like 2 sets. Well, 3. Because you've got Spider-Man. It's like, you know, if you want to make the most use of Captain America, and his ability to buff heroes, you're basically playing a different card game, creatures-wise. Because you have to have as many heroes as possible. Alright, so play Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong. Use it to scry 2. Put both of those on the bottom. And get Bogwater Lumaret. 5, 8, 11, 12, 13, 20, so... You know, they'd have to Yeah, no, I'll hold back. Hey, next turn, I get, as long as the Grave Researcher's still around, I effectively get to a Planetary Wan Shi Tong of Tong activation for free. Since I get to surveil every, each and every one of my turns. Yeah, I don't have any tapped creatures. Because I haven't attacked at all. Right, so I'm gonna want to block that gnome soldier. So I only take 8. Send that to the graveyard. And I think I can do better than an heirloom Monty right now. I'll use the Gold Keeper to give the Micro Tyrant flying. And then I just win because I can swing 20 damage with Trample and Flying. Their best flyer is a 1/1. So unless they've got something they can do a lot, a lot more than 3 damage. Yeah, just gonna smash the wasp like a bug. And deal more than enough damage to win. Oh boy, it's Marilyn. Right, play Haunted Mire and pass. Like Slitherboard or Pathway into Skull Prophet and pass. Oh, they're stuck on 2 lands right now, it looks like. So land, Talisman of Resilience, Huntwood Shrieker, and pass. And they just give up because they were stuck on 2 lands. I got a little bit of wait time on this one. Swamp, Gorehound, Path. That's Watery Grave, Lewin, yeah, put that up top. Swing one and pass. Botanical Sanctum, Bogwater Lumerat, and swing one because it's got Menace, so I still can. They've got Forest, they can get Sigarda out. Or they could go for a different angel. That could also be how this goes. Fabled Passage. Island. Sidisi. I got at least one hit, so... Another zombie. Hit. Another zombie. And I'm basically capping out at 3 for that. But then I pile on... I'll just keep those up top. Up and pass. They're not playing. Well, they could play Sigarda because they have not played their land for the turn. So they have a forest at their disposal. And there's Sigarda. Block that. What exactly was the point there? And I'll just take whatever damage they throw at me this turn. So that I can play Gossip's Talent and Skull Prophet. And I probably just win off of that. Because I'll get to look at 6 cards. Cards from my graveyard every time I surveil. Like every time a zombie enters, I get to look at 6 cards. I'll just put all of them in the graveyard. In each time, as long as there's at least one creature among those, it makes... like, I get 2 zombies, is potentially... And so as long as I don't hit a run of like 6 non-creature cards on top of my library, I just win, because I just make enough zombies that they lose the deck out unless they've got a Gaia's Blessing somewhere in their deck. Which is worth noting. This deck has 44 creatures. So... baseline odds before modifying... it's like baseline odds of any card being a creature before modifying for, you know, having drawn cards and cards and whatever's already in my graveyard and everything. That's 44 out of 99, which is approaching half. You know, it's approaching 50-50. Which the deck is getting at least one new creature in Reality Fracture. Because the new Liliana is looking very good for this strategy. You know, every time a creature enters, mill 2. And so that will effectively be an accelerated version of what I've already been doing, because since it won't be Surveil, I don't have the whole process of, yeah, you have to look at the top card and decide whether you want to put in the graveyard, which I pretty much always put in the graveyard. Because that's what this deck does. Is it just puts things in the graveyard. Right, Tyvar. Mill 2. Get a Gorehound, pass. Activate, hit the gargoyle. Play the Myco Tyrant. Keep Breeding Pool up top. +1 just to get a bit more on Tyvar. Oh, they're dark ritualing for 3 mana. Let's see if they actually have something useful to do with that 3 mana. Not particularly. At least not right now. Oh yeah, yeah, that was a mistake. Alright, so Gaia's Blessing. Put these two cards back in my deck. Playing Obscura a Storefront. Get a Swamp. Activate the Gargoyle. Then untap the Gargoyle.
Ready for round 2.
And pass the turn. I probably shouldn't worry too much about going fast against this. Like, yes, they gain 3. That's a big thing to worry about, is the Essence Channeler. And the 5/4 Malakir Familiar. So what I can do, I can block it with the Gargoyle. I'll take a little bit of damage. But that kills the Familiar. Place a DC. Activate Tyvar. Get the Gargoyle back. Oh, I don't have anything for that search anymore. Yeah, and so now as long as I survive this turn and all of my pieces stay where they need to be, I can more or less just win on this next turn. Either via my army of zombies or Sir Conrad. You know, keep an island up top so that I can Sir Conrad. Okay, that's not good. Fortunately, they're only gaining 4. Oh, they're actually only gaining 3. Alright, so block there and there. here and take the rest. And then they just concede because I've got a massive army. Didn't even need to Sir Conrad. And that was win number 15 for the day, so... Let's see, I've been live for 2 hours and 14 minutes. Now the question is, do I want to do another filler segment? Because I'm kind of tired. So I might just call it a night early. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, rather than go for another hour and 15 minutes. So thank you to everyone who stopped by tonight. Next Magic stream is planned for Tuesday with the final Planar Cube draft. And next stream in general is planned for tomorrow with whatever I come up with. It might even be nothing, and we might not do anything until Thursday. I don't know. You know, the schedule's been kind of loose because I just need to figure out some more ideas. Like the planar cube has been nice because it's given me something specific to do on Tuesdays. Because I haven't really been feeling paralyzed, I think I'll get into that more once it's got a bit more going on. Like, you know, the bones are solid. They just need a bit more flesh on them. Once we get like multiple neighborhoods, that will be really nice, especially if we get options for travel between them. And even more so if like it's handled better than The Sims 4. You know, vis-a-vis characters showing up in other towns. Like, I would love to see a simulation game that has multiple towns and handles the travel between them somewhat realistically. Like, give each town, like, some concept of it to occupying a certain geographic space. And have, like, oh, you know, if you're calling a character in this location, you have to be mindful of the time zones. And don't have... And, like, you know... Don't have it to where... seemingly, like, the same handful of people show up everywhere, regardless of where in the world you are. Like, I mean, you know, I have... For The Sims 4, I use a mod to make it a little bit more realistic by keeping it to like, yeah, when you go to a place, it will be mostly locals that you see. And like, mostly locals with some tourists, especially if you're going to a touristy event. Not, okay, we're in Japan, we're in South America, we're in any of these various towns in the US. Why are the same, like 5 people always here? In all of these locations. Like, are we being stalked? No, it's just, no, EA just coded the game like shit. Like, really, Sims 3 World Adventures did it travel a lot better because, other than that, because, you know, each destination is almost like a pocket dimension. And the only people from elsewhere that you see, other than your own Sims, are a pool of other travelers at the base camp. Anyway, thank you everyone who stopped by tonight. Again, next stream in general is planned for tomorrow with something. And next stream of Magic is planned for Tuesday for the final Planar Cube draft.